I am 52. Here's the advice I would give myself. It was back in my 30s and 40s. Number one, when you make a mistake, accept it and move on. Do not dwell on your mistakes. Now, if that's your husband or wife, yeah, you might need to dwell on a little bit to get things worked out and figured out. But you know what? We have made plenty of money mistakes over our lives that we just didn't know at the time. One time when our daughter was born, it was a $12,000 flight for life bill. We were earning $20,000 at the time. We didn't know we could work with the hospital, and so we took that and put it on our credit cards. Huge mistake. So there are things that you are just not going to know about. And when you make that mistake, just move on, accept it. And the next thing is learn from those mistakes. So later on, when we had major medical bills, we asked for an itemized receipt to make sure everything that was on there was something that they actually used for that medical emergency. And it wasn't just something that they were just throwing on there because they normally do it, even though they didn't do it for me. You've got to be diligent when it comes to your bills. Make sure you look at your electric bill, your water bill, your trash bill, your phone bill. Look at all of those bills, especially your credit cards, and make sure you actually spent what it says you spent. One time we got a water bill, and I don't remember how many hundreds of gallons it was, but we had this little tiny 800 square foot house. Even if we left the tap running all day and all night long, we couldn't have used that much water. It was enough to fill up the swimming pool at the school down the street. And when we talked to the water company, they were like, well, you must have just left your tap on. We said, this will fill the swimming pool at the school. There's no way we could have possibly used that. Well, come to find out, when they read the meter, they just added an extra zero. Okay, that extra zero is a lot. Make sure they're not adding extra zeros when you are checking your bills, and check all of your bills. The next thing is stop wasting all of your money eating out. Start cooking at home. Our Dining on a Dime cookbook is a great place to start. And the best news is it's on sale up to 50% off right now for our Mother's Day sale, which only happens twice a year. Start cooking at home with easy recipes to get you in and out of the kitchen quick that your family will love. Eating out is one of the biggest causes of credit card debt because people are tired. They don't want to cook at home. They're working. They just run by the drive-thru. It takes longer to go through the drive-thru than it does to come home and cook one of our meals, which take usually 15 to 20 minutes, but all of them are less than 30 minutes on hand time. Most of them takes 5 minutes prep. I just don't have the energy to spend a long time cooking, so I make quick meals. Get a list of 10 meals for spring and summer and fall and winter, and rotate through those meals. And then just every now and then, every week or two, add in a new recipe if you want to try it. But when you start cooking at home, you will start saving thousands and thousands of dollars that will help you get that debt paid off so that when you are in your 50s and 60s, you will have the money to retire comfortably and you're not starting to panic. What am I going to do? I have no money for retirement. The next thing is don't bury your head in the sand. Keep an eye on your bills. Keep your bills paid up. And if you can't pay your bills, immediately contact the creditor and let them know and see if you can work something out. We have always paid our bills on time, but a couple of times we had a family emergency. My grandfather had a heart attack. We didn't think he was going to make it. And so we had to drive 2 days to Colorado, stayed there. Thankfully, he did make it another 20 years, actually. And then when we got home, we had notices that we had missed our paying one of our bills. And I called them and I said, listen, my grandfather had a heart attack. We thought he was going to die. I couldn't get the mail. This was before online paying. I said, can you please remove the finance charges for this time? I will send you the payment right now. And they were like, sure. So call and explain, because if you're not negligent all the time, a lot of times they will work with you. If you are having problems paying your bills consistently, where can you cut back on spending? The majority of people, when they can't pay their basic bills, we're talking shelter, food, car, and clothes. Clothes, you need very, very little to spend on. You can go to thrift stores and garage sales and buy clothes for very minimum. I mean, we're talking $5, $10 a year. Sell your car. Get a car for $3,000 to $5,000 that will get you from plan A to plan B that you will pay for cash while you're saving up for that nicer car that you want. Cut out all of your subscriptions, your cell phone extra stuff. All of those things add up in your bills. Your hair, your nails, all of those things can be cut out so you can get out of debt first, and then you can start having some fun. And then along with that, stop, when you learn from your mistakes, stop repeating them. Okay, the first time, yes, it was a mistake. The second time, yes, okay, maybe you forgot and you slid back. All right, we'll give you that. The third time, it's on you. And it's time you started getting your act together and stopped making excuses and blaming everyone else. Stop blaming your mental illness. Stop blaming your job. Stop blaming your family. Stop blaming the way you grew up on your choices. They're your choices and they're your responsibility. And once you accept that, your life will be so much better and freeing when you know that you are controlling your life and you are accepting the mistakes that you've made and you're changing so that you don't make those mistakes again. Along with that is pay off your debt fast. People think it takes a long time to pay off your debt. It doesn't. Most people could get their debt paid off in a year, maybe 2 years max, if they cut everything back bare bones and just really hammered it hard and just got it done. Problem is, people don't want to. You know, I've seen several comments, well, I just want to live my life and enjoy because I just don't know how long I'm going to live. That's true. But how enjoyable is your life if you have all this stress of bill collectors, debt collectors calling you? You can't pay your bills. You're always worried about it. How good is your life then? Your life can't possibly be that great. The next thing is, remember, you are not your family. Just because your family is a bunch of losers, it doesn't mean that you're a loser or that you have to be a loser yourself. You can make different choices from your family. Your family's alcoholics, you can choose not to drink. Your family's drug addicts, you can choose not to do drugs. Your family's in hock up to their eyeballs and your parents are 70 years old and they can't pay their own bills. You can change it so that you are not in that position. But you are not your family. And along with that, stop enabling your family financially when you can't even take care of yourself. You need to take care of yourself first before you take care of your extended family. With the exception of extremely rare cases where a parent is just bedridden, disabled, or they have some kind of a severe heart problem or something like that, which is not the majority of the case. Most people do not need to be taking care of their parents. Their parents need to be taking care of their own finances. Now, if you want to help them out and they move in with you or something like that, okay, you can talk to your husband or wife and, see if that's something you want to do. But just supporting your family members, your deadbeat brother, your deadbeat cousin, no, you do not have to do that. You need to support yourself first and let them support themselves. The next thing is you're going to have to learn how to tell yourself no and be okay with it. No, I'm not going to go out and get a coffee for $8 to $10 today. I'm going to take that $200 or $300 a month that I would have spent on takeout coffee and put it on my credit cards. No, I'm going to fix my lunch at home, even if all I have time for is a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and some baby carrots and an apple and a thermos of water. I am taking my lunch. I'm not going and spending $20 or $100 a week, $400 a month. I'm going to put that on my credit cards and get them paid off. Tell yourself no to getting your hair done, your nails done, all of those. And you can be okay with it and have a very good life. The next one is be careful when you're picking your mate. You need to make sure your husband or your wife are of the same values that you are. Guys, is the girlfriend that you're marrying a spendaholic? Does she go shopping every weekend? Is her paycheck always gone? Can she not pay her own bills? Does she not care about being frugal with her money? That's a really big red flag. Ladies, is your boyfriend a deadbeat, not working, living with his parents, not supporting himself? All of those are red flags. Listen to these red flags when they come up. I've seen story after story of women who say, I was just so blinded by love because he loved me just for me and all this baloney. And there were huge red flags, huge red flags. I had one friend, 15 minutes before their wedding, her fiance slammed her up against the wall and had her in a chokehold, and she still married him. You can't really get more red flag than that. Is he asking you for money? Is he expecting you to pay the bills? Is he expecting you guys to keep your money separate? Is he expecting you to work because he can't possibly provide for a family on his own? None of those things are acceptable at all. Be careful who you marry. It is very, very important. Listen to your friends and family if they are throwing red flags and saying, I just don't know if this is a really good idea. It will save you a lot of heartache and a lot of financial problems in the years to come. The next thing is, when you do get married, ladies, stay home and raise your kids. I know woman after woman after woman, my age, 50, 60, 70, they regret going to work and letting daycare raise their kids. Stop letting grandmas be your daycare provider. Except for an extreme emergency situation, grandparents should not be babysitting their kids. They have raised their kids. They are not full-time parents anymore. It is not their responsibility to raise your kids because you are not being financially responsible. It's not. Now, it's one thing if you have just some horrible medical bills or some medical condition or something like that, an emergency situation or something like that. I'm not talking about those situations. Yes, I know there are single moms. I know that there are widows who their husband have died, their husbands have run off, whatever the situation is. I'm not talking about those situations. Yes, some moms are just going to have to work. But if you are a two-income family, you need to really think about the amount of stress that you working is causing on your family. And how much will that stress be relieved if you just stayed home, kept all of the appointments, kept dinner on the table, kept the clothes clean, so that everyone could relax and enjoy themselves. No, this doesn't mean that husbands and dads don't help at all. Mike helps with the dishes all the time. He helps with cleaning. He changes diapers. He fed the kids. But I was the one who was the primary caregiver, so that someone else wasn't raising my kids. I know it's not the cool thing to do. I know women say, well, what am I going to do if I stay home? I'll lose all my prospects for working later. You will figure out a job if the time comes. The next thing is, tell your kids no. Your kids do not need the latest Stanley Cup. They do not need the latest game. They do not need a cell phone. My kids did not get a cell phone until one was 15 and the rest were 16. They pay for it themselves and we don't pay for it. We just don't. There was one situation with one of our kids where they got a phone at 15. It was one of our old used phones and it was still on our plan. So it was basically just like, I don't know, it was close to free. It was like $10 a month or something. It was hardly anything at all. We went ahead and kept that because when he's 16, then he's going to be paying that on his own. But if they want a new phone or anything, they pay for it. The next thing is, your friends matter. Do you have friends who are encouraging and trying to improve their life? Or do you have friends who just chalk everything up to, oh, well, this is just what life has given me and there's nothing I can do about it? It makes a difference. Stop hanging around people who refuse to improve themselves, who refuse to take responsibility for their actions, who are always blaming the government on all of their problems, blaming their parents on all of their problems, blaming their job on all of their problems. If you have friends like that, it makes a huge difference if you find friends that are actually positive and uplifting and trying to improve their life, instead of just always complaining about how everything's going wrong, woe is me. I'm not talking about circumstances. I get it. Sometimes you have medical bill, dental bill, car breakdown, roof leak. All of those things happen at once. That's not the type of thing that I'm talking about, but you guys know the kind of person I'm talking about. So make sure you find people that are going to move you up and not keep tearing you down or holding you back. Next one is stop wasting time helping people who don't want help. I am a helper, believe it or not. I like helping people. I can see things looking from the outside in that other people can't see. And I'm like, if you would just stop doing this, then this would get better. If you would just stop dumping your trash in your bedroom and put it in the trash can, your bedroom wouldn't be a pigsty. If you would just wash those dishes as soon as you are done and put them back in the cabinet, you wouldn't have dishes laying all over the place. If you would stop getting your nail and hair done to the tune of $200 a month, that's $1,200 you could go pay off one of your credit cards right there. That's $2,400 you could go pay off one of your credit cards right there. $2,400. This is not uncommon. I know woman after woman who spends $200 a month getting their nails and hair done. It's very common. So I see those things in people and I point them out, and yeah, I try to keep my mouth shut unless I'm asked. I don't always, especially if they're complaining. If they're complaining to me, I'm not keeping my mouth shut. But if they're not complaining and they're just stating something like, oh man, X happened today, I don't say anything. If you're someone who is a bleeding heart, a people pleaser, don't help people who aren't willing to help themselves. If you're going and helping a friend declutter her house and you come back in a few weeks or months or whatever, and it's all back in the same condition that it was before you even started the first time, I'll help you one more time, but I'm not going to help you a third time. If you ask me to come over and help you with some yard work because you got behind and you just really need to get that grass down, I'm willing to come over and help you. But if everything's been fine and you just got behind, I'm not going to be helping you again. You have to help yourself by not helping people who don't want to help themselves. Stop wasting your energy doing that. If they don't want to help themselves, stop rescuing people who don't want to help themselves. Stop rescuing your kids when they're making bad financial decisions. Stop rescuing your friends when they're making bad decisions in whatever. You cannot save the world and use your energy for people who actually want help and want genuine change. Please comment and give me your advice if you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s and what you would tell a 30 or 40-year-old that you would have changed. Go watch this video next if you want more advice on how to save money and get out of debt. Visit us at livingonadime.com. We will see you guys next time.